भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्यवर्य अष्टोत्तरशत श्री श्रीमद् डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद बोलो श्री श्री ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्भागवतम की ग्रंथराज श्री चैतन्य चरितामृतम की जय हो। योग धर्म श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय, हृदय प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गे राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. At the very outset of present day's discourse, I would like to offer my obeisances, most respectfully prostrated obeisances, unto the lotus feet of their divine lordships, Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Dev, along with their children associates like Shri Lalita Devi, Shri Vishakha Devi, Shri Ruparati Nandini, etc. And along with that, I would also like to submit my most respectfully prostrated homages unto the lotus feet of their divine lordships, Shri Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Shri Nityananda Prabhu, along with their potential entourage, such as Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatana Goswami, and all the six Goswamis of Shri Dham Vrindavan. Finally, I would like to pay my obeisances and due respects unto the lotus feet of His Divine Grace Abhay Janarendra Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada, who has very nicely propagated the doctrine of Krishna consciousness throughout this world in this present modern era in the most unique and fantastic way. Conclusively, I would also like to pay my obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord present herein, and thereby I would like to now comment in the context of our discussion, especially the context pertaining to the glorification of Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, in this International Society for Krishna Consciousness, we have all been acquainted, at least to some extent, with Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Shri Krishna, who is the son of Nanda Maharaj in Vrindavan, and Srimati Radharani is the daughter of King Rishabhan in Vrindavan. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than these two transcendental personalities combined in one form. And for that same reason, it has been disclosed in the Shastras that Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna He Anya. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Shri Radha and Krishna personified. And we also find reference to Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in direct and direct, both type of references. Regarding Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we find in many parts of the Vedic scriptures, Vedic Shastras. Because it is said in Sri Harivansh Puran, and it is also said in Mahabharata, that Vede Ramayane Chaiva Purane Bharate Tatha Adava Madhye Cha Anye Cha Hari Sarvatra Vidyate Adava Madhye Cha Anye Cha Hari Sarvatra Vidyate. Lord Hari, Lord Krishna, or Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Shri Radha and Shri Krishna, he has, or his glories or glorification of his character, transcendental names, qualities, attributes, pastimes, his associates, his entourage, his related paraphernalia, and everything which belongs to him, the glorification of all that has been done in both the beginning, in the central part, and in the ending portion of the Shastras. And not only that, everywhere in the Shastras, both direct and indirect references regarding the glorification of the Lord and his manifold related items have been made. Adava Madhyecha Anyecha Harihi Sarvatra Vidyate. So, regarding Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we find more than 85 different quotes or quotations in bona fide authorized Vedic scriptures which existed prior to the divine advent of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. This is very important to make clear. Because in those scriptures or those Bhakti Shastras, those scriptures found in devotional service which have been compiled and which have been written by Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's followers, there is certain mention of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's glorification. But there is also mention of his advent and his real identity in the Dharma Shastras, in the Vedic Granthas, in those Vedic scriptures and literatures which existed prior to the advent of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like this Puranas and Vedas compiled by Shri Vyasa, and like many other Samhitas and Tantras and Pancharatras compiled by other sages of the Yoga. So, the first and most ancient reference in regards to Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is generally known as Mahaprabhu or the great Lord and Master, has been made in Shvetashvatara Upanishad, 3rd chapter, 12th mantra. So the Shvetashvatara Shruti, Shvetashvatara Upanishad, which is the most important part of the Veda, comprising the Vedanta section of the Veda, because 4 Vedas combined together, Rigveda Samhita, Yajurveda Samhita, Atharvaveda Samhita, and Samaveda Samhita. These 4 Vedas combined together give us total figure of 100,000 mantras. In Vedas we do not have shlokas, rather we have mantras. So 100,000 mantras in Vedas, among them 86,000 mantras belong to the Karmakanda section, or that portion of the Veda which describes ultimately belief. And as it has been substantiated by Lord Shri Krishna in the 42nd, 43rd and 44th texts of the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Ya vimam pushpitam vacham pravadantya vikaschatah vedavadataha vatanamyanasti vadinah Tamatmarah sarvapara janakarma dharapradam priyavishesha bhavanam bhogeshwarya gatim prati. Those portions of Vedas which deal with Karmakanda, they rather use flowery language in order to attract the fruitive of this mundane world. So, Karmakanda section comprises 86,000 mantras. Then comes Upasana Kanda section, which comprises another 10,000 mantras, total 96. And the last 4,000 mantras constitute the Dhyana Kanda portion, also known as the Vedanta portion, or the ending part of the Vedas, the most important part of the Vedas. So, Shvetashvatara Shruti falls within the Vedanta section of the Vedas, the most important last part of the Vedas. So, in this Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has been defined by Lord Vyasadeva in the following way. Mahaprabhurvai Purusha Sattvasyaiša Pravartakah Sunirmalanimam Shantim Ishano Jyotiravyayah. Mahaprabhurvai. Vai means certainly, without any scope of doubts. Without any space or room for the doubts and different types of suspicions to prevail, it has been said Vai, or the word Vai has been used here for the same sense to denote the same idea. So Mahan Prabhu Vai. Mahan Prabhu Vai means that Sri Chaitanya Dev is indeed Mahan Prabhu, is indeed the great master. Now one may pose a question here that Shri Krishna Chandra or Shri Ramachandra, are they not the great masters? Indeed, they are also the great masters. But Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being none other than Shri Ramachandra and Shri Krishna Chandra, is greatest master in the ultimate sense. Although Shri Krishna Chandra is the self-same personality as Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, not complete, not different. And Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is neither an expansion of Shri Krishna nor an incarnation of him. Yes. All the others, including the first quadruple, Pratham Chaturyuga, Adi Chaturyuga of Dwarka. What is that? Vasudeva Sankarshana Pradyumna Aniruddha. Namo Bhagavane Tobhyam Vasudevaya Dhimahi Pradyumnaya Aniruddhaya Namah Sankarshanaya Cha. And the second quadruple expansion, which has the same Vasudeva Sankarshana Pradyumna and Aniruddha, but in Vaikuntha. And then this quadruple expansion of Vaikuntha also appears in Ayodhya, in Saket, as Ram, Lakshmana, Bharat and Shatrugna. And then we have three types of Purusha-avatars, beginning with Karan-Lakshai, Mahavishnu, Shiro-Lakshai, Garbo-Lakshai, etc. Then we have three types of Guna-avatars, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. Then we have 14 Manvantara-avatars, because there are 14 Manvantaras, and because there are 14 different Manus presiding over those Manvantaras, that is why we have 14 different Manvantara-avatars. Then we have 4 Yuga-avatars appearing in each Yuga, in each era, in each millennium, beginning with Satya, Treta, Dwapar and Kali. Then we have Shakti Avesh avatars, they are again divided twofold, Jiva Shakti Avesh and Bhagavad Shakti Avesh. Then we have Leela avatars, which are 22 in number, sometimes 24 in number also, according to different places of the Shastras. And likewise, we have 6 types of incarnation. 6 types of incarnation. Incarnation means those who descend, those forms of Godhead which descend to this mundane platform in order to liberate the conditioned living souls of this mundane phenomenal world are known as incarnations. But those forms of Godhead who do not descend to this mundane world to liberate and to deliver the fallen conditioned souls of this material world are rather not known as incarnations or avatars, rather they are known as Vilas and Prabhu Prakash Rupas of Shri Krishna. And they are all present in Vaikuntha, they never leave Vaikuntha to come to this mundane platform. But Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not one of these, not following one of these categories. He is rather the most original primal personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna himself. Is neither his incarnation, is neither his expansion. Now one may ask another question, that Shri Baladeva Prabhu of Shri Dhama Vrindavan, Vraj Leela, Shri Balaram, manifesting in Vraj Leela, he is neither an expansion of Shri Krishna, he is neither an incarnation of Shri Krishna. So is Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu compared with the position of Baladeva? Because Baladeva, according to the strict language, most strict language used by Srila Rupa Goswami in defining these categories and making them mutually segregated from each other, according to the rational basis. So this Srila Rupa Goswami part, when he has defined Shri is the Swayam Bhagavan. And how he is the Swayam Bhagavan? Because it has been substantiated, this point has been substantiated in Shri Brahma Samhita. Ramadi Murti Shukalani Amenati Shthan Nana Avatar Makarod Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramahakumanyo Govindamaya Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Ramadi Murti Shukala. Yes, I adore that grammatical personality of Godhead known as Shri Govindadeva, who is Dvibhuj and Murti Dhar, Venu Vinam Pavana, Brajesh Shaktai, who is Ramakant, who is the most beloved husband or most beloved lover of Srimati Radharani, who is the son of Maharaj Nanda and Yashoda, who is Dvibhuj, having two hands, and in those two hands, who is holding Murtidhar, who is holding the flute, and is not only holding the flute idly or in government spring or in an electric bill, but crazy bugger. No. He is holding the flute, and then he is also functioning with that flute by playing that flute, and that Venu Ninad Parayana Shri Krishna. That Shri Krishna who is always adept in playing on the flute in the fifth note, Panchama Swar, just like the cuckoo is playing. Yes. Just like the cuckoo is playing. And as it has been described in the verses of Brahma Samhita, like it has been said that Sayatra Kshirabhi Surabhi Vyashta Sumahan Neshar Bhaktova Vrajati Nahi Yatrati Samayah Vareshweta Dvipam Tamahamiha Gologami Giliyam Vilaviraste Santah Viripati Viravachara Katipaye. So, it has been described in this Goloka Dham has been described in very much elaboration in Brahma Samhita. So this is Shri Krishna who plays and sports in this Goloka Vrindavan, in the aforementioned Goloka Vrindavan. This Shri Krishna, he is the original primeval personality of Godhead, and he manifests himself in different forms like Shri Ram, Shri Narayan, Shri Varaha, Shri Matsya, Shri Nrsimha, Shri Kurma, etc. by his expansions and the expansions of the expansions, as Ansha and as Kala. Ansha means direct expansion and Kala means expansion of an expansion. So Shri Krishna manifests himself as Rama, Narasimha, Narayan, etc. either directly as expansions or in the expansions of those expansions. But they are all Vishnu Tattvas and they are all Swanshas, not Vibhinanshas like the living entities. Living entities are also part and parcels of the Lord, but they are differentiated part and parcels, Vibhinansha, whereas these Vishnu Tattvas are not Vibhinansha, they are Swansha, they are not differentiated, they are the same as Shri Krishna himself, just appearing in many different forms, unlike the living entities. Yes. And that is why Shri Rupa Goswami Pada says, Siddhanta Tattva Bhedeti Shri Krishna Swarupayoham Raseno Krishyate Rupa Krishna Vesha Rasastitihi. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that Siddhanta Tattva Bhedeti, according to the ontological conclusion of the Shastras, Siddhanta Tattva Bhedeti, there is complete non-difference between Shri Narayan and Shri Krishna, between the four-headed Narayan of Mahavaikuntha and Shri Krishna of Vrindavan. Yes, Siddhanta Tattva Bhedeti Shri Krishna Swarupayoho. Shri Shiva is the husband of Shri Ramadevi, who is Narayan. Between him and Krishna, in their Swarupa, in their innate identities, there is absolute no difference. Shri Krishna Swarupayoho, Rasena Krishyate Rupam Krishna Vesha Rasastitihi. But when we talk about the gradations of rasa, based on Rasa Shastra, Bhakti Rasa Shastra, like Ujjwal Neelmani and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, when we talk about the distinction based on the Rasa Tattva means the manifestation of all the 12 transcendental mellows, 5 being the primary, 7 being the secondary, Panchamukha and Saptagaur. So the 12 rasas, when we talk about the manifestation of these 12 rasas in totality, in their completeness, then it is only Shri Krishna who manifests the 12 rasas in full. Even Garga Samhita corroborates the same idea and says that Shri Rama only manifests 9 out of the 12 rasas, whereas Shri Krishna manifests all the 12 rasas. That is why he is Leela Purushottam, he is he is Akhila Rasamrita Murti. He is the embodiment of all the transcendental complete rasas in totality, in their full manifested form. So this Shri Krishna, He manifests in different forms like Rama, Narasimha, etc. And then it is explained, Deepachire Vanikashantaramabhyuparanya Deepayane Vivitahetu Samana Dharma Yastadrige Vahita Vishmataya Vibhati Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Just like original candlelight or original ghee lamp is there, and then there are many millions and thousands and hundreds of other ghee lamps. All the ghee lamps have the same potency, have the same function, and have the same quality, same attributes, same characteristic, and same potency of illumination, heat, and burning. Fire has three functions: illumination, heat, and burning. So all the candles which are lit currently, they all have same functions and same qualities in the same amount, same power in the same amount. But what's the difference? The original candle is still the original candle. In the same way, the Bhagavata or the Godhood of all the other incarnations and expansions like Varaha, Matsya, Narasimha, Kurma, etc. depends upon the Godhood of Swayam Bhagavan Shri Krishna Chandra of Vrindavan. That is the only difference between the other forms and him. Now the question arises that Shri Krishna is known as Swayam Bhagavan. Wherein in the Shastra he is known as Swayam Bhagavan. Or yes, in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, and third chapter is known as Swayam Bhagavan. In the very words of Sutta Goswami Bhag, when he describes the ontological position of Shri Govindadev unto all the 88,000 sages headed by their Kulpati, their chancellor, who is Shaunaka. Then he says, therein the Sutta says, that ete chamshakalaha kumsaha krishnastu bhagavan swayam indraryakulam lokam mridayanti yuge yuge. All the other incarnations and expansions of Godhead which I have already mentioned, they are either portions or portions of the portion of whom? Of Adi Purusha Avatar, the first Purusha incarnation, Karanakshai Mahavishnu, who resides in the causal ocean, Karan Samudra. But Shri Krishna, tu means but, ete chanchakalaha pumsaha. Krishna tu Bhagavan Swayam. But Shri Krishna, he is not either the Karanakshai Mahavishnu, and he is not portions of Karanakshai Mahavishnu. But rather he is even the original source of Karanakshai Mahavishnu, Swayam Bhagavan. Swayam Bhagavan means whose Bhagavata, whose Godhead is self-dependent. Swayam means self-dependent, not dependent on other forms. Whereas the Godhood of all the other forms like Rama, Narayana, Narasimha, etc. depends upon the Godhood of Shri Krishna. That is the meaning of Swayam Bhagavan or Swayam Bhagavata. That is why it has been described in Shastra that Shri Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. But now the question arises is that Shri Krishna may be Swayam Bhagavan. But this Shri Krishna appears in all the three places, all the three transcendental realms, Dwarka, Mathura and Brajbhumi Vrindavan Dham. So this Shri Krishna who appears in all the three domains, he is Swayam Bhagavan, he is considered to be Swayam Bhagavan in general. Others are Bhagavan, Narayana, Ram, Narasimha, etc. They are all Bhagavan. And the demigods like Shiva, Brahma, Indra, Varuna, Chandra, Surya, Ganesh, etc. They are sometimes called Bhagavan, but only in a relative sense. Ultimately they are Devatas. They are not ultimately Bhagavan, only in a relative sense, in some particular context, because they are resembling the Bhagavan in some way. That is why they are also called Bhagavan. In that sense, even Narada is called Bhagavan many times in Srimad Bhagavatam. In many times in Srimad Bhagavatam, even Narada has been called Bhagavan, and many other rishis have been called Bhagavan in various parts of the Shastra. Are they really as worshipable? By the Shaivaites and by the Naravadyas and by the Sauras and by the Shaktas? No. Then they make prejudice, so then they have to accept. Then they have to accept that their demigods whom they worship are also on the same quality, on the same standard. That means their demigods that they are worshipping, those devtas, they are relative only Bhagavan in a relative sense, not in an ultimate sense. If they don't want to consider Narada as worshipable as the other demigods, then they have to consider that these other demigods have also been awarded the title Bhagavan only in a very limited sense, not in an ultimate sense. So, Shri Krishna and his incarnations are ultimately, the Vishnu Tattva expansions are ultimately Bhagavan in the ultimate sense. But Shri Krishna is not even Bhagavan in
Krishna Chandra, now he appears as Swayam Bhagavan in all three places, Mathura, Dwarka and Vrindavan. But Shri Krishna of Vrindavan is also Swayam Bhagavan as well as the Shri Krishna of Mathura and Dwarka. But Shri Krishna of Vrindavan is a special type of Swayam Bhagavan. That means he is Swayam Rupa Swayam Bhagavan, as it has been described by Rupa Goswami Pad in Laghu Bhagavatamrita. He is Swayam Rupa Swayam Bhagavan. Swayam Rupa means the most original form of Swayam Bhagavan. Swayam Bhagavan also, that category also has some difference in gradation. So, Shri Krishna or Vasudev of Dwarka and Keshavdev of Mathura, Vasudev of Dwarka and Keshavdev of Mathura are rather known as Swayam Bhagavan, but among them Shri Krishna of Vrindavan is the highest form of Swayam Bhagavan. The Govinda Dev of Vrindavan is higher than Keshav Dev of Mathura and Vasudev of Dwarka. And that is why the form of Shri Swayam Bhagavan Krishna which appears in Vrindavan has been known as Swayam Rup. Now what is the criteria, what is the basis of this segregation even between the Swayam Bhagavan category? So the basis for segregating like this are the four types of sweetnesses which are not present in the totality in the Keshav of Mathura and Vasudev of Dwarka, but are rather present in the totality in the Govinda Dev of Vrindavan. What are these four sweetnesses? What are these four madhuris? So Goswami Pad says in Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Chaturtha madhuris tasya vraja eva virajate. These four madhuris beginning with Rupa Madhuri, the sweetness of the most unparalleled form and countenance, enchanted countenance that Shri Govinda Dev of Vrindavan is possessing. Rupa Madhuri. Venu Madhuri, the sweetness that his flute is possessing. Gunam, Venu Madhuri, Rupa Madhuri, Prema Madhuri, the sweetness that the love that Shri Krishna gives to his devotees in Vrindavan and that his devotees give to him in return. That love, the sweetness of that love is not found even in Dwarka and Mathura. And Venu Madhuri is not at all found in Dwarka and Mathura because Shri Krishna does not take on Venu or flute in Dwarka and Mathura pastimes. He only has Venu in Vrindavan pastimes. So, Chaturtha Madhuri Stasya Vraja Eva Virajate, Rupa Madhuri, Prema Madhuri, Venu Madhuri, and the fourth one is Leela Madhuri. Those pastimes that Shri Krishna performs in Vrindavan are never found in any other place, not even in Dwarka and Mathura. And Venu Madhuri is at all not found. Venu Madhuri is at all not found. And even Prema Madhuri is not found in Dwarka and Mathura because the Radharmita associates are not present in Dwarka and Mathura pastimes, who are rather present in the Vraj pastimes of Vrindavan. So, because this is the difference between Shri Vasudev of Dwarka, Keshav Dev of Mathura and Govinda Dev of Vrindavan, that is why Govinda Dev of Vrindavan, who has all these four types of sweetnesses which are not found in all the other incarnations and expansions like Narayana, Ram, etc. This Govinda Dev of Vrindavan is the most special type of Swayam Bhagavan known as Swayam Rupa. But this Swayam Bhagavan, who is of Swayam Rupa type, that means Shri Krishna of Vrindavan. This Swayam Rupa Shri Krishna of Vrindavan, Shri Balram of Vrindavan, is not different from this Swayam Rupa Krishna of Vrindavan. In any sense, he is not different. Shri Balram of Vrindavan is at all not different from the Shri Krishna of Vrindavan. The only difference that prevails between both of these forms is that Shri Balram is also Swayam Rupa. What to speak of Swayam Bhagavan? Shri Balram is also Swayam Rupa. We are only talking about the Balram of Vrindavan. Don't mix this category with Balram of Mathura, Dwarka, Sankarshan of Vaikuntha and Lakshmana of Ram Leela. Don't mix this category. We are only talking about the Balram of Vrindavan. So the Balram of Vrindavan is Swayam Rupa. What to speak of Swayam Bhagavan is Swayam Rupa. But when Swayam Rupa appears in a slightly different way, what does it mean? When Swayam Rupa appears just in a different, assuming a different complexion, assuming different bodily complexion and little slightly different nature and also different types of weapon. Now Shri Krishna does not have any weapon in Vrindavan, but weapon here means whatever he holds. So Shri Krishna in Vrindavan, he holds the wooden stick, the walking stick that is used for cow grazing, and the flute. But Shri Balaram of Vrindavan rather holds plough, hal and musal. He holds plough. So this is the only difference. The only difference which prevails, these two types of Swayam Rupas, Shri Krishna and Shri Balaram, is that they are only different in countenance, in their appearance, in their external complexion. Shri Krishna is bluish and Balaram is of golden complexion. Shri Krishna is Dhi Nayak, but Balaram is Dhi Prashant Nayak. Different types of Nayakas or heroes are mentioned in any epic or in any drama. So, Rupa Goswami says that there are four types of heroes, Nayakas. So, Balaram generally appears as Dhi Prashant Nayak, that type of nature he has, and Shri Krishna of Vrindavan appears as Dhi Lalit Nayak. So, there are only some differences in their natures, in the way they dress, in what they hold in their hands, and in their outer external complexion. But ultimately, Shri Balaram is the same as Swayam Rupa Shri Krishna of Vrindavan. But since he is in a slightly different form, that is why he is known as Tadekatma Roop. Not as expansion, not as incarnation. Shri Balaram is not an expansion, not an incarnation. He is not avatar, he is not Vaibhav Prakash, Prabhav Prakash, Vilas or any other category. He is Swayam Roop, but he is Tadekatma Roop type of Roop. Tadekatma Roop means who is completely one with the Swayam Rupa, only slightly different in external appearance. That means Tadekatma Roop. But Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is he Tadekatma Roop Shri Balaram? No. He is not even Tadekatma Roop Shri Balaram. Rather, Tadekatma Roop Shri Balaram of Vrindavan has appeared as Shri Nityananda Prabhu in Gaur Leela, in the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as his eternal associate. And Swayam Rupa Shri Krishna of Vrindavan, he is the one who appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But is he the one? Is he the only one who appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? No. Along with him, his transcendental internal potency, Antartha Shakti, known as Ahladini Shakti, pleasure-giving potency, and the original embodiment of this pleasure-giving potency is the daughter of Vrishabhanu, Srimati Radha. So this Srimati Radharani, along with Srimati Radharani, Shri Krishna has appeared in a combined form as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is why we will find that in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, at the time of Rai Ramananda Sambhav, at the time of conversation which is ensuing between Rai Ramananda Prabhu and Shri Krishna Chaitanya Dev on the banks of Godavari in the district of Rajamundri in the province of Andhra Pradesh in India, 5 centuries back, when this conversation is ongoing. At that time, after the conversation has completed or is about to complete, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he shows his actual identity, his actual personality to Shri Ramananda by manifesting Srimati Radharani from the left part of his body and Shri Krishna from the right part of his body, and in the center is standing Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, within the personality of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, both Shri Rama and Krishna, Shri Radha is the embodiment of Mahabharata and Shri Krishna is the embodiment of all the 12 rasas. Akhila Rasamrita Murti, that is why Rasaraj. And because Radha is not different from Mahabharata, that is why Rasaraj Mahabharata Milita Vigraha. The combined form of Shri Radha and Krishna is Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Radha and Krishna of Braj. Their combined form is Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And even the Vedas, like Shvetashvatara Upanishad, they are corroborating the same fact. Mahaprabhurvai Purushah Sattvasya Pravartakah Sunirmala Mimam Shantim Ishano Jyotirabhyayah. So it has been declared here that certainly Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Mahan Prabhu. Mahan Prabhu means he is great master. Now one question arises that many different acharyas, many different Vaishnava acharyas especially, have also been made or have also been given the title Mahaprabhu. Like there is Srimad Vallabhacharya Mahaprabhu is there, Sri Harivansh Mahaprabhu is there. These are the two Mahaprabhus I can think of at least right now. So many different Vaishnava acharyas have been given the name of Mahaprabhu. What is the difference in calling them Mahaprabhu and in calling Sri Chaitanya Dev as Mahaprabhu? So the only difference is that those acharyas, they are certainly bona fide, authorized and most respectable acharyas, and for any follower to consider his spiritual master to be the greatest, even greater than Sri Krishna, is certainly allowed by the Shastra. Because in Shastra, Sri Krishna himself says in Bhagavatam, Mad Bhakta Puja Bhravita. The worship of my devotees is better, is higher than my worship. Adhika means it is more. More means my worship is less, my devotees' worship is more. Anything which is more is certainly anything which is less. But that does not mean that only by worshipping the devotees, you don't have to worship the God. No. That is not the implication here. That is not what is being implied here. Rather, only this remark is being made that the worship of the devotees is higher than the worship of Sri Krishna himself. It does not mean that Sri Krishna does not have to be worshipped and only his devotees have to be worshipped. Because that will also contradict the Shastra. Sri Krishna himself says, Prathamam tu gurum pujyam tataschaiva mamarchanam purvam siddhimava paroti dhyanyata nishpalam bhave. First, a sincere and serious practitioner of devotional path must worship his guru, his spiritual master, and then he should worship me. If only the worship of the devotees was essential and the worship of Sri Krishna was of no use, then Sri Krishna would not be worshipping the guru. I should be worshipped. I should also be worshipped. That means his worship is also essential. But here only comparison is being made. Mad Bhakta Puja Bhravita. Mad Bhakta Puja Bhravita means actually Sri Krishna is the goal. How can his worship be left out? So, Mad Bhakta Puja Bhravita means the worship of my devotees is better than me. And this is not only what the Lord says. Even Sri Mahadev says in Padma Puran. In Padma Puran, Mahadev also says, what does he say? Aradhananam sarvesham Vishnu aradhanam param tasmat parataram devi tariyanam samarjanam aradhananam sarvesham. Among the worship of all means among the worship of demigods, among the worship of human beings, among the worship of ghosts, spirits and phantoms, among all types of worship of Lord Vishnu is the best. Yes, 330 million demigods, 30 crore devata. 30 crore devata, 330 million demigods, headed by Brahma, Shiva and Indra. Then, many ghosts, spirits, many demons, humans, they are all worshipped by many different types of people in different modes of material nature. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yanti devavada devan kriti yanti triprata bhutani yanti bhuteja yanti madhyaji naupimam. Those who will worship demigods, they will attain those demigods. It's not that everyone has the same destination. And some religious societies are making this faulty conclusion that the worship of everyone is the same. Especially in Bengal, but this is not the conclusion here. The conclusion that the Lord himself gives in Bhagavad Gita is that the worshippers of different demigods and different worshipable items will reach different destinations. They will not all come together and will reach the same destination. Yanti devavrata devan. Those who worship demigods will reach them. Those who worship the forefathers and ancestors headed by Aryama and Chitragupta and Yamraj, they will go to that planets. Pitri yanti pitrivrataha, bhutani yanti bhuteja. Those who will worship phantoms, spirits and ghosts, they will go to their planets wherever they are. Bhutani yanti bhuteja yanti madhyajinokimam. And those who will worship me will certainly come to my highest, supermost destination. So, now the thing is, we were describing that Aradhanam Sarvesham, among the worship of all, means among the worship of demigods, ghosts and human beings and forefathers, the worship of Lord Narayana is the best. Lord Shiva himself says, he does not say that my worship is the best to you. Aradhanam Sarvesham, Vishnur Aradhanam Param. Tasmat Parataram Devi. But even higher than Lord Vishnu's worship is the worship of his pure devotees. Tadiyanam Samarcharam. Now, we can worship the demigods as the pure devotees of the Lord. But that makes the whole scenario completely different from the demigod worship. Demigod worship means you consider that demigod to be the supermost power existing. But that is not the case here. We worship demigods as devotees of the Lord. So that's a whole different thing here. So, Aradhanam Sarvesham Vishnur Aradhanam Param Tasmat Parataram Devi Tadiyanam Samarchanam. And in many places of the Shastras, Lord Krishna himself has declared that because I am completely dependent on my devotees, Paradhi, and because I have lost all of my independence, Swatantrata, Aham Bhakta Paradhino, yes, Swatantra Iva Dvija, in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when Lord Narayana is chastising Durvasa, he says, devotees like Amrish, I am bound by their love, I am actually subordinate to them, I am completely dependent on them, I am not independent in front of them, I have lost all my independence. Paradhi and Aswatantra. Aham Bhakta Paradhino, he Aswatantra Ivatvita. So devotees, because Lord is bound by their love, he becomes subordinate and related to them. So, now, because the devotees of the Lord have such an exalted position, that is why historical acharyas who appear on this world and whose name becomes printed in golden letters of Dharma Itihas, of the religious history, those acharyas, they may be called Mahaprabhu by their followers, because for a follower to consider his guru or a pure Vaishnava like that particular acharya to be Mahan Prabhu, certainly okay, because Shri Krishna himself says in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam to his devotee Uddhav. What does he say? Shri Krishna says that Anuprajamyam nityam pujayetam hrirerubhi Anuprajamyam nityam. It's not only that I only make vocal remarks that my devotees are better than me, their worship is better than me, and I am completely dependent on them, and I have lost my whole independence in front of them, I am completely subordinate to them. No. It is not only that I only make vocal remarks like this, because lip service is very easy to execute. Lip service is very easy to execute, but rather I also implement whatever I say. And that is why he says, Anuprajamyaham nityam. In order to prove that my devotees are actually exalted in me, I follow behind my devotees. Anubrajan. Anubrajan means, Anu means Anugaman. Anu means following behind. Anu means Anugaman. And Braja means to go. I walk behind my devotees. Anubrajami aham nityam. Not only once, not only twice, not only thrice, but at all times. Past, present and future. Traikalik kal. Threefold time is denoted here. Nityam means in all the 3 times. Anuprajamyaham nityam pujayet angrirenubhini. And what do I do? What is the purpose of my following my devotees, behind my devotees? The only purpose of following my devotees is that, so that when my devotee will step ahead, I will take the foot dust from their footprints, and I will put it on my head. Angri Renu, Angri means head, and Renu means foot dust. Pada Renu, Charana Renu. Renu means foot dust. Now let me ask a question, why never you take foot dust going in front of your devotee? Because after all, you are servant of your devotee, you have become subordinate to him. So it should be very natural to go in front of your devotee and then take his foot dust from front. Why? From the rear part, from the hind part. Why from the back? Why behind the back? So the answer is because my devotees will not allow. That is why I do it from behind. So because the devotees of the Lord have such an exalted position, Lord may be called Prabhu, but then his devotees are called Mahaprabhu. That is why different. different acharyas, they may be called Mahaprabhu, but that's not the case with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the only Prabhu, and he is the only Prabhu. 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 He is We don't have any objection with those acharyas being called as Mahaprabhu by their followers. But that is not the same thing as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Mahaprabhu in another sense. He is also Mahaprabhu in that sense also. Because he also has accepted the mood of a devotee. Ashraya, Vishaya Vigraha Krishna, who generally stays as Vishaya Vigraha or the objective of love, he has now become transformed into Ashraya Vigraha or the shelter of love. That means the Lord who always, most of the time, stays as master. Now that Lord has become a devotee. Devotee of his own self. Devotee of his own self. Vishaya Vigraha Krishna has been transformed into Ashraya Vigraha, Bhakta. And this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Bhakta Bhav Angika. He is not appearing as Bhagavad Bhav. He is not, although he is Bhagavan, Swayambhu Bhagavan of Braja, Krishna, along with Radharani combined, but now he is appearing as a devotee of Krishna. He is not manifesting himself as Krishna, but rather as his devotee. And that is why he may also be called Mahaprabhu in that sense, because the devotees are higher than Shri Krishna. But Mahaprabhu has some special reason for being called Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Dev has some special reason for being called Mahaprabhu. And what is that special reason? That special reason is that Swayambhu Krishna is the same as Swayambhu Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not avatar or prakash or vinas or expansion or incarnation of Swayambhu. He is not even Tadek Atmarup Balram. He is Swayambhu Krishna. But then what's the difference between them? Mahaprabhu and Swayambhu Krishna. Mahaprabhu is also Swayambhu, Krishna is also Swayambhu. What's the difference? Krishna is not Audarya Purushottam. He is only Leela Purushottam. Because Narada is telling to Maharaj Yudhishthir in the 7th canto of Bhagavatam, Rajan Pati Gurugalam Bhavatam Yadunam Daivam Kvacha Vikaro Kulapati Vaha Astveva Vruva Bhagavan Bhajatam Mukundo Muktin Tadati Karhichit Smana Bhakti Yogam. Oh, Maharaj Yudhishthir, you are very fortunate to have Lord Shri Krishna serving as not only as your spiritual master or worshipable deity, but also as your charioteer, as your servant, as your friend, and as your messenger. Messenger also. Shri Krishna also became messenger in the Udyog Parva of Mahabharata. He became messenger of Pandava. That's a very important position for him. Being the Akhil Koti Brahmanda Nayak. Yes. So, why all this is happening? Because he has been bound by your love. Bhakti Sutropanataha, as the Padma Purana is stating. Padma Purana is stating, Bhakti Sutropanataha is bound by the rope of love, your love, the love of the Pandavas. And Narada is glorifying Yudhishthira's position. He says, normally this is not seen. Why? Because normally Shri Krishna, unto all his worshippers, he awards them sense gratification, bhukti, very easily. Mukti or liberation from the material world, Shri Krishna also awards very easily. But very rarely, only in forced conditions, only when he is compelled, only in forced conditions, Shri Krishna ever gives his unalloyed transcendental love known as Prema Bhakti. Muktin dadati karhichit smana bhakti yogam. Prema Bhakti is never given. Only in most limited, reserved and forced conditions. And that is why Shri Krishna generally does not give Prema Bhakti. But Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gives Prema Bhakti without any consideration of Patra and Apatra, without any consideration of who is eligible and who is ineligible. Patra Patra Vichara Nahi, Nahi Sthana Sthana, Jai Jaha Payata Kare Prema Dana, Lutiya Khaiya Diya Bhandara Pujare, Ashcharya Bhandara Prema Shata Gunatare. This is Bengali verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita written 450 years back by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Vrindavan. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is stating, Patra Patra Vicharanani Nahi Sthana Sthana. Shri Chaitanya Dev is Mahaprabhu, is great master because he is Audarya Purushottam. Audarya means most magnanimous, in whom munificence is found in its climax. In whom munificence, karuna, compassion, mercy, grace in the form of bestowing Prema Bhakti, which is rather rarely obtained. This grace of allotting, bestowing, rewarding, awarding Prema Bhakti is rather the gracious deed, an act of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and because of this, he is the most munificent incarnation. As Rupa Goswami Goswami has corroborated in the words Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurakushe Namaha. So Ramachandra is Mayavada Purushottam, Krishna Chandra is Rasamrita Murti and Leela Purushottam, Purna Leela Purushottam, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Audanya Purushottam, most magnanimous incarnation. Why? Because Patra Patra Vicharana, he did not consider who is eligible, who is not. He did not consider what place is right, which place is not right for this donation. Because generally in the act of donation, Dan Kriya, we have considerations threefold. Kal, Desh, Kal and Patra. Place should be right, place should be sacred, auspicious, holy. Time should be holy, and the person who is being given donation should be the righteous, proper person to receive it, who will not misuse it. But these three considerations are only, considered or only given importance in normal donations of material items. But in donating this Prema Bhakti, neither of these considerations are given any importance. Patra Patra Vicharna, no rational reckoning or no rational thinking or pondering or contemplation over who is eligible, who is not. No rational contemplating over which place is proper and which place is improper. Jai jahan paat tahan kare prema. Wherever any person Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would meet, he would immediately, even without that person's desiring, he would forcibly give them this prema. Krishna Prem, Lutiya Khaliya Viya Bhandar Ujare Ashcharya Bhandar Prema Shataguna Bade. And Lutiya means he not only gave this donation by making some reservations in the quota or in the original storehouse where this Krishna Prema is stored. He did not make any reservations that I will reserve this quota for emergency use. No, Lutiya. Rather, how did he donate? Lutiya means he plundered. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu plundered just like a dacoit. Just like a dacoit. But there is no special word used for those dacoits who plunder the ships. There is a very special word used in English. Pirates, yes. Just like the pirates, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has plundered the storehouse, the bhandar of Krishna Prem. Lutiya Khaliya, he himself has eaten and he has made others eaten. But what's the special quality of this storehouse of Prema that Mahaprabhu has plundered? The special quality is more the storehouse is plundered, more Krishna Prema emanates in abundance. The more it is taken away from the storehouse, the more it is plundered. Ujare means the more it is plundered, the more Krishna Prema manifests in abundance within the storehouse. It never ceases to exist. So Lutiya Khaliya Viya Bhandar Ujare Ashcharya Bhandar Prema Shataguna Bade. The more it is plundered, it becomes 100 times more. Yes. Mayavadi Karmanishta Kutar ki Gagat Nindak Pashani Jat Paduyarman Sai Sava Maharaksha Bhaya Parari Sai Panya Tasavari Chuni Dinari. But ultimately, even those Mayavadis, targeters and offenders and different types of people, they were also inundated in this great flow of Krishna Prema that emanated or that started from Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And because he has given this most magnanimous charity which was not given for a prolonged time, which was not given. This Prema of Krishna. And what type of Prema? Very special type of Prema. Unnat Ujjwal Ras. That means very special type of love for Krishna that the thousand damsels of Vrindavan have for him. That special type of Prema Mahaprabhu gave to him. Mahaprabhu came to give. Anarpita Charim Chila Karamaya Nirangalo Samarvayitu Unnat Ujjwal of Krishna. And this Prema, this love of Krishna was not given for a prolonged time. Prolonged time means not 1,000 years, not 100 years. Not that it was given 100 years back. No. It was not given. It's not that it was given before Kali Yuga, before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in some other Yuga. No. Not even in Sakya Yuga it was given. previous day of Brahma. That means trillions and trillions of years back. And only after trillions and trillions of years, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has again come to revive this Krishna Prema, has again come to give this Krishna Prema to all the living entities, and that is why he is the most magnanimous, and that is why he is considered here Mahavarani, Audaya Purushottam, and that is why he is Mahan. Mahan, why a person becomes great? A person becomes great by giving. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has gave what Krishna and any other incarnation could not give. And that is why he is certainly Mahaprabhu. That is why Mahaprabhu Vai. Shvetashvara Upanishad says, certainly Vai. He is the only Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Because we have reached the time limit.
You think we should have question answers? Is that the tradition in the evening?
Okay, maybe one or two short questions. Okay.
Yes.
Well, Krishna didn't come to give prema bhakti to those who are ineligible. Even those who are practicing devotional service, even unto those he did not come to give prema bhakti. But only those who have become perfected in their practice of devotional service. Only those suitable, eligible candidates who have become perfect in their performance of devotional service upon many lifetimes of sincere dedication, only unto those devotees he actually came to give prema bhakti, and to make only those sadhana siddha bhaktas, in order to make those sadhana siddha bhaktas eligible to participate in his pragat leela, in his manifest pastime, Krishna came here. But Mahaprabhu has come here to give prema bhakti, not only to those who are sadhana siddhas, not only to those who are practicing sadhana bhakti, sadhakas, but even to those who are not practicing bhakti at all in any sense. So Mahaprabhu, he has made kripa siddha devotees. Kripa siddha devotee means whomever Mahaprabhu looked upon, that person, now it was not required for that person to perform sadhana bhakti. Immediately he got prema bhakti, the fruit of sadhana bhakti, just by Mahaprabhu's transcendental vision falling upon that person. Just by Mahaprabhu's beholding that particular person, that person got prema bhakti without doing any sadhana. So Mahaprabhu came here to make kripa siddhas, not sadhana siddhas. So that's the difference between Mahaprabhu and Shri Krishna. And what is your question? Yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has disappeared simultaneously in three places. Some devotees saw him entering into the ocean of Jagannath Puri. Some devotees saw him entering into Jagannath deity. The doors were closed and he entered into Jagannath deity. And some devotees saw him entering into the knee of Radha Gopinath, Tota Gopinath deity in Jagannath Puri. So when Mahaprabhu has entered into Tota Gopinath, the knee of Tota Gopinath, the Tota Gopinath deity has been cracked, and that crack is even now present for some little donation. The Uriya Brahmin who sits there, the Orissa Brahmin who sits there guarding the temple for little donation, he will be able to show you that crack wherein Mahaprabhu has entered. And this fact is accepted by the whole Jagannath Puri, even by the Puri Brahmins, the Puri Pandals. And what to speak of the Puri Pandals, it has been accepted by the followers of Mahaprabhu themselves. Yes, this is a very public fact. There is no other opinion about this. He has disappeared in three ways simultaneously. Because he is Bhagavan, he can disappear in three ways at the same time, in three different forms. Yes. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.